Captain Sam, can you hear me? On your left.
Thanks for the ride, Uncle
Now,
Ben.
wait a minute, Peter. We need to talk. Anymore. You shirk your chores. You have all those weird experiments in your room. You start fights at school.
I didn't start that fight. I told you that.
Well, you sure as hell finished.
What was I supposed to do? Run away?
No, you're not supposed to run away. But Pete, look, you're changing. I know. I went through exactly the same thing at your age.
No, not exactly.
Peter, these are the years when a man changes into the man he's going to become the rest of his life. Just be careful who you change into. This guy, Flash Thompson, he probably deserved that. But just because you can be doesn't give you the right to. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Peter! Peter!
Peter!
Peter!
Avengers!
Assemble.
I am inevitable. And I am Iron Man.
Hello, and welcome back to Marvelous Discussions. It's been so long since we've done this. Longer for Socks and me than for you guys because it took me so long to edit that last video, but now we're back and we're going to try live format again for a little bit, and I'm really excited. So, no review today. We're just going to kind of go over some of the Marvel news that occurred while we were gone and what occurred today after I put this stream up. So, who we have in the chat? We have Dennis Medina. What up, Dennis? And we'll talk about that. I know my co-host has strong feelings on that. And Sean Franklin. What up, Sean Franklin? So now let's get ready because we are back. We are back. We are back to this. And I see the annoyed look on his face. Please welcome Socks Bulletins.
It's a good thing I love you back then because I hate musicals altogether.
Well, other than that, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back. It's been a while, man. It's been a long while. So yeah, it's good to be back and talk about things that are, coming around, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I really am. So I'm glad to be back.
I'm glad to be back too. I'm glad to discuss. And you know what? I'm not going to waste any time. Let's just get right to it now. So, again, it's a news day. So, one thing I just want to kind of go over before we start. So, Joe Russo, some of you, there's a lot of Snyder fans in this, in my viewership. And they may have saw that even I myself got into a bit of an argument with a Joe Russo on Twitter. I want to make this abundantly clear, people. He is not the Marvel director, Joe Russo. That is a different person altogether. There is no relationship between these two people that I am aware of, other than the fact that they have the same first and last name. But do not worry, guys. We can still enjoy the Marvel movies that they direct without worrying about, oh, fuck that director for going after the Snyder fandom and trolling people. Different person altogether. That Joe Russo wishes he was the other Joe Russo. So just want to get that out there so people don't panic and whatnot. But I don't know, Socks, you got anything to say about that?
A guy like this, man, is just trying to make a name for himself, and he's doing something that everyone else has done before him. So, he's a troll. And what do you do with trolls? You either ignore them or you challenge them. So I leave that up to your discretion. Personally, he'll get what he deserves one way or another. Someone will either call him out on his BS or you just block him. Move on to something better. I don't deal with trolls. I just ignore trolls. And and trust me, there's plenty of them out here. And they love to bring down what you like. So go from there.
Absolutely. Well said, Socks. And normally I don't even highlight the trolls on these platforms. The only reason I'm doing it this one time is because he has a big enough following that people are legitimately mistaking him for the Marvel director. So I want to make it clear that it's not that guy. So I do want to make sure that this is clear to everyone. So I'm going to probably stop engaging with this person myself because, yeah, waste of energy. But anyways, just want to get that out there. Now, normally I promote One Punch Stand on here, which, I'll continue to do when I get new stuff. But right now I don't have anything new to say about One Punch Stand. So I'm going to promote another one of Zod Writer's projects, Superman Hood Legacy. Basically, it's a parody film of a certain other film that came out, is what it seems like based on the trailer. And it's actually written by not only Zod Writer, but Qatar and Bishop. So I don't think I put the link in the description, but I'll make sure it's on there after the stream ends for Replay Crew. So check it out. It's really hilarious, and yeah, great work, Zod Writer. I love seeing all your projects, and yeah, so check that out. I know Zod Writer Socks. Did you see this yet?
No, but I'll definitely look into it for sure.
Yeah, it's a great trailer. It's really hilarious. So, yeah. And now, a bit of somber news, but, ironically, the month that a new Fantastic Four film comes out, we lost an actor from one of the previous Fantastic Four movies. Julia I cannot pronounce his last name, but the actor who played Doctor Doom in those first two movies. Not the ones in the early 2000s, not that 1990s movie that Zod Writer loves so much, but this one, the two movies that came out in the early 2000s. The actor who played Doctor Doom passed away of cancer in his 50s. Tragic death all around. I guess, Socks, anything you want to say about this?
I didn't really know him too much outside of his work with Doctor Doom on Fantastic Four, and he did a TV series a few years before this called Nip Tuck. It was on the FX channel. It was about plastic surgeons or something. I watched it maybe once or twice. I really didn't get into it too much. But the Fantastic Four movies, from what I remember of them, they were okay. I didn't hate them. I didn't love them, especially those two with him in it. They took certain liberties of what they could with Hollywood that does from time to time in those type of films. But I'm sorry he passed away. Cancer is a horrible thing. Anyone that gets cancer or has cancer, my heart goes out to you and your family. I hope for a speedy recovery. I hope for one day there's a cure for this horrible disease. Everyone's born with the cancer gene. We're all born with it. Something along the way triggers it to come on inside of some people. So you would think that there would be something inside of us that could shut it off. They haven't been figured that out yet in science. And chemotherapy is no blessing either, because that's shooting radiation into your body, killing your immune system to get rid of this thing. But cancer, man. Like I said, I'm sorry he passed away from it. I hope his suffering wasn't too bad. I'm glad he can rest in peace now that he's no longer in any type of pain. Hopefully where he's in heaven, where he's at, I hope the best for him, and I hope he can have the best time for eternity.
Well said, Sox. Well said. It is horrible. Cancer is always a horrible thing, and it would be nice if, there was a way we could cure it, but unfortunately it's not there yet. But it's always sad when this happens, when this stuff happens. But it's always important, I think, to call attention to and remember these actors, because they're human at the end of the day. They're human. They've entertained us, and I always like to make sure that we always kind of give our respects to it. For a time, I mean, again, I haven't seen those movies in a long time, but at the time they did entertain me at one point. In fact, I even have the first one of those two movies on DVD. So, yeah, so just tragic all around, but just, again, wanted to pay our respects, and hopefully your legacy will live on. Hopefully, the Secret War saga movies will have some kind of tributes if they get into Fantastic Four, but we'll see. So, again, rest in peace. And now, the Thunderbolts box office. So I just want to kind of say for the record, I have not seen this movie yet. This was in the middle of my move to my condo, so I have not had time to see that movie. I have not checked it out. But Sox, I guess, did you see this movie?
I liked the movie. I thought the movie was fine. I didn't consider it woke like most people did. But I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually a bit better than Brave New World. Again, I didn't hate Captain America Brave New World either. But Thunderbolts to me was it set out what's coming with the Fantastic Four and so on and so on. But I thought they did the characters pretty good. Sentry they did right. I liked how they did Elena, Black Widow, and Bucky and the rest of them. Can I see a spoiler on here about Thunderbolts? Is that okay or no? Since you haven't seen it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, I didn't want to ruin it for you. You've seen the Black Widow movie with Scarlett Johansson, right?
Yes, it's been a while, but yes.
You remember Taskmaster, the female Taskmaster?
Yes,
Now,
I do remember that.
in the comics, Taskmaster is okay. There was a bit of controversy there with us fans. Taskmaster's a dude, not a girl. They killed off the female Taskmaster in the first 15, almost 20 minutes of the Thunderbolts movie. They killed her right off. They killed her off.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Damn.
So if this is a woke movie, they just killed off the most woke character there was from the previous movie into this new movie right away, man. And she don't come back. That's it. She's gone. So I kept thinking, is the MCU finally changing? Are we gotten past the woke era? Which I know we are. We are getting past that. Changes are slow. It's finally happening. You just got to pay attention to it.
Exactly. It's always important at the end of the day that films entertain people, not try to preach messages. That's, whether I agree with those messages personally or not, does not matter. I don't want it preached to me, shoved down my throat, whatever, in my entertainment. So that's always kind of my stance with that. So if they're moving away from that era, great. But I've heard, but it sucks. I'll be honest. I heard it was a good movie. I'm not gonna lie. I heard. Oh, hit the wrong. Meant to hit share screen. But unfortunately, despite that, we'll just have to switch here real quick. So, 6 weeks later, the Thunderbolt has catered a box office of 371 million globally, one of the lowest grossing installments in all of Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe. And, obviously there's some clip doom and gloom up here, but this is mainly what I want to kind of focus on.
I believe it.
But I guess, what's your thoughts on this movie not doing that well in the box office?
I'm sorry, say it again.
I'm sorry. What's your thoughts on this film not doing that well in the box office?
It's sad, but I can understand why. Because we came out of an era where everything had to be woke, or at least about 90% of it. Or I like to think lower than that, but normies don't know the difference between certain things and certain things. But I get why people are like, I'm tired of seeing movies that are having messages in it, and they don't want to support it, whatever. And Thunderbolts wasn't a household name like a Captain America, an Iron Man, a Spider Man. I get that. It's a brand like Guardians of the Galaxy. Not that I'm comparing it to Guardians of the Galaxy, but it wasn't a big name. Okay, so I understand the thought process behind it. And a lot of these characters, normies didn't know who they were. But again, it comes down to, if you're being preached to, like you said a few minutes ago, you get tired of hearing the same preaching. So you don't want to go through a film and sit there for 2 hours and hear some woke messaging. Well, guess what, people? This movie isn't woke, but you would not know that because you're so used to it. It's sad because if you want to go see a movie or a show, the first question in your mind is, "Oh God, it's gonna be woke." That's messed up. But we never thought like that before until Hollywood changed to that. Now that Hollywood's changing again, all this stuff's going away. We can finally start, hopefully, focusing on the better, on the positive than the negative. Hopefully, Thunderbolts will get a punch in its revenue and support on Disney Plus as time goes by. When it comes out on Disney Plus, hopefully people will watch it and say, "Hey, man, this movie's not that bad." It happened for Captain America: Brave New World. That became one of the most watched movies on Disney Plus when it first showed up, and people, were wrong about that. Hopefully, they'll be wrong about Thunderbolts, and they'll say, "Hey, this is actually a good movie." It'll come back around. Things come back around. You just gotta be patient, and it'll happen. Unfortunately, change is slow.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, in my opinion, it's not just the fact that the MCU has been woke in some, or people perceived it as woke in certain projects. I think part of the problem, too, is just the quality has not been consistent after Endgame. Sure, you've had some winners like Deadpool and Wolverine, and I guess people did like the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie. I have not seen it for my own reasons, as some of you may know. But I think for me, in my opinion at least, the reason why I think this film didn't do so well is, unfortunately, the quality hasn't been consistent with the MCU, and the trailers just kind of made it look more like the same thing. And as you said, Sox, it's not a household name. Like, again, when I compare this to the Guardians, I don't mean, like, I'm only talking about in terms of recognition pre-MCU is all I'm talking about. Because in terms of that, they're like the Guardians in that regard. But the difference is, when the Guardians of the Galaxy came out, that came out when the MCU was regarded as one of the highest things ever. So people were going to watch whatever. Right. I think the problem here is that after Endgame, people haven't really liked the MCU consistently as much. So if you see something that's not a household name that looks more of the same, even if it ends up being a really good movie, the problem is people lost trust. People don't want to spend their money on that. Because you may say, "Oh, well, you have to see the movie to form your own opinion." Yeah, but you also have to spend money to form your own opinion, too. And people don't want to do that. People work hard for their money. The theaters are expensive because you're going to the movie, you're going to buy popcorn, snacks. And people say you could just skip the snacks, but you're not going to do that. Let's be real here. If you know you're going to be tempted to buy popcorn at the movie theater, you're just going to count it as an expense. So, point is that. Oh, I'll have to pull up this comment soon. But anyways, point is that, yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of trust that needs to be built back with the MCU. And yeah, absolutely, Sin Havoc. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. I mean, here's the thing, though. I mean, like, MCU had its high reign for 10 years, basically, where it was regarded as one of the best things ever. And now, unfortunately, what I think kind of happened is that it became popular to take shots at it. So now people take shots at it no matter what, even if it's not necessarily warranted. And again, I'm not saying that post-Endgame MCU doesn't deserve any shots. It definitely does. There's definitely been some losers it's had. But I do think it's kind of like the same thing with Disney Star Wars. It's not all good. It's not all bad. That's how I feel with MCU, post-Endgame MCU. It's not all good. It's not all bad. And unfortunately, that's just kind of where we are right now. And just so you know, Sin Havoc, I kind of made a point in saying that I'm not going to bring up a certain movie directly. You can make vague references to it, but so I'm not made a liar on myself. I'm avoiding directly referencing that movie until mid-August, we'll say. Mid-August. But just if you're going to say that movie, just say that movie. So anyways, that's just kind of my point with the Thunderbolts box office. Again, I have not seen this movie. I've heard it was good, though, and I am going to see it when it's on Disney+. But unfortunately, I just think it's a product of where the MCU has been regarded as of recent years. So hopefully some of these new movies can turn that around. But air buyer's remorse, I don't know if are you talking about the DC side or the Marvel side, Sin Havoc? Feels like this is more the DC side, since I don't think Disney regrets buying Marvel now or buying Fox or whatever. So, but yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts with the box office for Thunderbolts. Is I think it's just a product of how people have perceived the recent MCU, and it's going to take time to turn it around. Absolutely. And no, that other movie does not get that excuse because they had the chance to go with something people actually wanted and did it. So, because I know what I said kind of sounds like what other people are saying. Nope, not the same thing. Just want to get that out right now. But now, I guess it sucks. Is there anything about what I said that you want to say to that?
No, I think we said what we needed to say about Thunderbolts.
Oh, yeah, Sin Havoc. I know exactly what you mean. So, but now some exciting news. And before we get into this, I will say, yes, Sox and I will do the Daredevil Born Again review. That is still happening. We just, again, with the move, I had to kind of reshift some things a little bit. And I'm not going to do this. We're not going to do this review right before Fantastic Four First Steps at this point. But that is coming. Don't worry. We did a whole hype series for it. So we're going to do the actual season 1 review. But anyways, Sox, what's your thoughts when you saw this news?
I'm great. I'm glad, man. I'm really glad because he is part of the original series on Netflix, and he was a good character on the Netflix shows, and I'm glad he's coming back, man. And that's why I keep saying, man, Born Again Season 2 is going to be even better than Born Again Season 1 because Season 1, I liked it. You know, there are certain episodes I like more than others, but Season 2, that's going to be a banger, buddy. Mikey was right again. Facts.
Exactly, Sox. Exactly. Because I've kind of, and we'll get more to this when we actually review the series, but the first season had moments that felt very connected to the MCU and had other moments where it felt very disconnected from the MCU. Because again, originally when the series was made, it wasn't connected to the MCU. It was just Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio playing variants of the characters from the Netflix series before they changed it and then refilmed all of Vanessa's scenes with the new actress. And I think in one way where it didn't feel as connected was the lack of the supporting characters from the original series. Because aside from the first episode and the second 2 episodes, like those were the new episodes that Netflix, or not Netflix, that they filmed when they decided that the Netflix series was canon. It didn't feel that connected. And one reason it didn't, because I was saying aside from those 3 episodes, you only see 3 characters with those actors from the original series. Charlie Cox is Vincent D'Onofrio. Charlie Cox is Daredevil, Matt Murdock. Vincent D'Onofrio is Wilson Fisk's Kingpin. And I cannot pronounce her name. She's Laura L. in Man of Steel, but her as Vanessa. Those are the only 3 that you see on a consistent basis throughout the Daredevil Born Again. Because, yeah, you see Foggy, you see Karen, you see Josie in the first episode, you see Josie in the 8th episode, and then her and Karen in the 9th episode, and Bullseye. You also see Bullseye in the first episode and in the second 2 episodes. But other than that, you don't really see a lot of the supporting characters, and I think you need the supporting characters to help it feel connected. So I'm really glad they're bringing this guy back with the same actor, just to clarify. This is the same actor from the original series. Because I'll tell you, Sox, when they were going to the 15th precinct, it clearly said 15th precinct on there. I'm thinking, where's Brett Mahoney? I need Brett Mahoney. Where's Brett Mahoney? And what up, Mama Bear? Thanks for stopping by. And hold on, Sin Habit. Okay. I cannot pronounce that, but that's Vanessa right here. That's Vanessa. That's Vanessa. So, yeah. But, yeah, I am really excited to see this character return. I think this is some continuity that we needed. So, yes, I think this is great news. I think this is wonderful news for Daredevil Season 2, Daredevil Born Again Season 2, because I'm hoping now that there's no creative overhaul that we can just have a consistent vision, a consistent feel. And good one, Mama Bear. Good one, Mama Bear. You were frozen for a little bit. But okay, that's what he was right about. Okay. And yeah, definitely play Rebel Moon Bloodline, people. I won't promote it too much on this show just because this is a Marvel show, but yep, love that game. So, guys, if you have not played Rebel Moon Bloodline, check it out, and shout out to the Curly Ray, aka Rebel Moon Theory, for promoting that game. But anyways, this is continuity that we definitely needed. It's because, again, you need the small things as well as the big things. Yeah, yes, it's great to bring all the main characters back, but you need to bring these supporting characters back too, because it's the little details like that that make it feel really connected. Like when we saw Josie back in the first episode, I was like, wow, they brought her back, someone who was just kind of a real background character. But again, it's the little details that make it feel whole. In fact, it's almost more special to me when they bring back those minor characters than the major ones, because people will know the major characters, absolutely. But the minor character shows detail. It's attention to detail. So, yes, great news all around. And, okay, we'll see, Sin Havoc. We'll see if you're right. But now, let's move on to some other news. So, we saw him in Daredevil Born Again. And now we're going to see him in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And Sox, this is actually kind of poetic because I have a bit of a story to tell you. My introduction to this character was in none other than a Spider-Man series, that 1990s Spider-Man the Animated Series. That was my introduction to Punisher. So it's very fitting to see him again in a Spider-Man movie. But what was your thoughts when that news came out?
I instantly thought $1 billion right there. $1 billion, because the fact that you're gonna have Punisher in a Spider-Man movie, and plus they just confirmed, and I know I'm going a little further into our conversation here, Spider-Man, the 4th film, will be grounded. So we are gonna have a Punisher in a Spider-Man movie. Now, again, Mikey Sutton, the late great Mikey Sutton, said that certain characters are going to end up along the way in the Spider-Man franchise. One of them he mentioned. He also mentioned Daredevil and Kingpin. I remember Mikey talking about that. Hopefully that plan hasn't changed. But now we got Punisher. So we're going to have to see how Punisher is going to react to Spider-Man. We already know how he feels about Daredevil. He respects Daredevil, but Daredevil, doesn't exactly do what Punisher does. Spider-Man doesn't exactly do what Punisher does. Okay, Daredevil is actually more extreme than even Spider-Man is sometimes in the comics, but definitely in the show, he's definitely more extreme than Spider-Man. But this is gonna sound silly. Look at the cover of Amazing Spider-Man 129. Look that up on Google. Find that image, Amazing Spider-Man 129. You're gonna see Spider-Man hanging upside down with Punisher looking at him with a sniper rifle like he's gonna shoot him. If they don't do that image in that movie, I'm gonna lose my shit. Because that image is a classic cover. That's a classic cover. That image needs to be in that new movie where they show sights. I need to see that image. I know it's a silly thing, but I need to see that image in the movie.
You mean this image? Talking about this image right here?
Yes.
So
Yes. That image better be in the movie. It better be in the movie.
okay, you heard it here. You heard it here, Feige, and whoever's directing this movie. You better put that image in the promo. You better have a promo poster for it. And let's see what Sin Havoc is saying. Street Civil War, Defenders, Black Symbiote suit. Interesting. And yes. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm really excited for this because I think one thing the Spider-Man film is doing that I like is I like that they're connecting to the larger MCU. I'm not saying all the superhero films need to do that, but the thing with Spider-Man is we had two different Spider-Man movies. Like, I don't mean like movies themselves, but like series of movies, like, franchises, Spider-Mans with different actors. And I think one thing that really separates this Spider-Man is that he's part of the larger Marvel universe because you didn't get that with the last two Spider-Man. So I think I'm glad they continued this tradition. And I like that they're bringing John Bernthal in. I like that they're bringing the Defenders characters that were originally on Netflix into the movies now. I think that's really great. And it is going to be interesting how they do Punisher, though, because he's going to have to be Punisher, but he can't be fully Punisher. Like, he can't, you're going to have to put this Punisher into a PG-13 movie, because that's not going to be rated R. You can't make Spider-Man rated R. And Spider-Man's the main character in this movie. Right. So it'll be really interesting, and I think I'm going to sneeze. I'm not going to sneeze. Great. I hate when that happens. You're about to sneeze and it doesn't come out. But anyways. But here's the thing, Sax. This leads me to the big thing. So Vincent D'Onofrio basically said, Sony gets Kingpin for the movies, Disney gets Kingpin for the series. This is technically a Sony film. This is not technically a Disney film. Yeah, Disney gets profit in this film, and they're lending their characters and some of their writers and producers, but I'm going to pull that up, Sin Havoc. I'm going to pull that up very soon. I just want to kind of finish this thought. But think about it, though. Kingpin is a Spider-Man villain. Kingpin was originally a Spider-Man villain, and he's also a villain of the Punisher, and he's in the Sony movies. So, and I think Vincent D'Onofrio himself even said he wants to fight Spider-Man. So if you're going to do it, this movie right here is the time to make him the main bad guy, especially with how Daredevil Born Again ended. You have all of New York taking over, basically. You think friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's going to be sleeping on the job, going to be like, I'll let Daredevil deal with this. I'm not friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in this. I
got something. I got something I got to say to this, man. And it makes me think about what Mikey said. Mikey did remember the whole Vincent D'Onofrio tweet about what Mikey posted about the Geekosity report years ago.
Yep.
I wouldn't trust this.
Yep, I remember exactly what you're talking about.
And Mikey always said it in his voice, right? I wouldn't trust this.
Yeah.
Mikey was never wrong. Mikey has never been wrong. Mikey has always been right. Even though our dear departed good friend has passed on, his predictions have all come true. They're still coming true. After all this time, they're still happening. I wouldn't trust this. I got a weird feeling. Now, we need to add this to the topic because Sin just reminded me of this. This was true. This was just revealed a couple of weeks ago. Sony has officially stopped making all spin-off films of the Spider-Man franchise. There will be no more spin-offs of Spider-Man films. None. They're done. What's that tell you, Bat Dan?
That they're done.
You
They're
won't
done.
get no more Spider. You're not gonna get any more Spider-Man. Yeah, that's telling me something. Sin Happy knows more than he's telling, man. Sin Happy knows a lot. And I got a feeling like what Mikey said, what Sin Happy said. I guarantee. I got this weird feeling that Disney's gonna get the rights back to Spider-Man, and once that happens, it's a wrap. Because what people don't remember this, I do. When the Spider-Man films first were announced, Kevin Feige wanted to do nine films. He didn't want to do 6. He wanted to do 9. 3 in high school, 3 in college, and 3 as Peter was an older man doing this. To do 9 movies. He wanted that more than anything. 9 Spider-Man films, right? Well, obviously, Sony got involved, and they had to have their way, and there was constant negotiation back and forth between Sony and Disney, blah, blah, blah. So many things have changed since then. And it mostly has been towards the positive, towards Feige now. Because remember a while back, Sony wanted Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man 4, to be more of a global, epic type of movie. Feige wanted it to be more grounded. Feige's getting his thing. Feige's getting what he wants because Feige is a genius. He has a vision. I keep telling people this. The man helped bring in $32 billion into a movie studio. No other producer in the history of Hollywood has ever done that. $32 billion with a B. Name me one producer in the history of Hollywood that's ever brought in $32 billion to a film studio. And people keep giving him shit. People keep coming down on him. You seem to forget, man, and I'm not saying this towards you, Pat Dan. People seem to forget, well, Feige ruined his legacy. No, he did not. How did he ruin his legacy? How did Feige ruin his legacy? He didn't. He had people like Bob Chapek that took over Disney when Bob Iger stepped down. Bob Chapek took quantity over quality. Threw everything at the wall to see what stuck. He gave Victoria Alonso more power than he wanted Feige to have. Victoria Alonso was a woman that said, well, we can't call them the X-Men. We have to call them the mutants. The X-Men is outdated. What happened to her? She got fired when Iger got back into power. Chapek is gone. Feige has her back. But yet people still want to fault Feige. I'm not saying Feige didn't make his mistakes. Of course. At least he had a vision. It was him that came to them for the idea to say, hey, man, we don't have Spider-Man. We don't have the Fantastic Four. We don't have the X-Men. We have to build a franchise on what we do have. Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, the Avengers, and go from there. And along the way, Fantastic Four came back. They can use more stuff with the Hulk. They can do stuff with Blade. They can do stuff with the X-Men now. Things come around. Feige has a vision. Every Hollywood studio wishes they had a Kevin Feige. They don't. There's only one Kevin Feige, and he's with Disney. $32 billion? It's hard for me to go against the guy that brought in $32 billion. The dude brought, and I will not let that go. He brought in $32 billion to a film studio. So until you can find me a producer that can do more than that, go talk to the wall. Thank you. Rant over.
But yeah, that's a fair point. I think that's a fair point. I think there's a lot that Feige has done that I will always give him credit for. Absolutely. And I think he clearly, I'll say this. The Spider-Man films, even though I said they were Sony films, I still mean that, legally speaking, but creatively. I'm saying creatively, let's be honest, these Tom Holland Spider-Man films are 100% Disney creatively speaking. Sony's getting the distribution rights, sure, but let's be honest here, Disney's the one who made those films successful. So if Disney really does get the rights back to Spider-Man, absolutely. I think it's a great thing. I think it's good for Spider-Man to be all together. Then the only thing they'll be missing are the solo Hulk film rights. And good one, Sky. Good one, Sky. And to clarify, for those who don't know, Sky's making fun of James Gunn. He doesn't actually believe that. But
I know. That's why I did. That's why I did that look.
Yep. But yeah. So and again, I think this is really good news because I'll say this about that whole legacy comment that Dennis Medina brought up. I will say it like this, post Endgame, there have not been as many wins. So I get to a point where it's coming from. But that means that, but I think we need stuff like this, though, can help bring the MCU back. It's like I said, MCU has been a roller coaster post Endgame. It's been some hits, some misses, some hits, some misses, some hits, some misses. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, there's part of me that does wish that Kevin Feige left after Endgame because whether or not the stuff he's to actually blame for this stuff, the fact is, it is unfortunately affiliated with him post Endgame. So his legacy would have just been pure without the without Endgame or after Endgame. I will say that, but at the same time, he's done so much stuff, and interesting. Okay, but anyways, he's done so much good stuff that I do think he can right the ship back on course. Because we do need that. And I think something like this absolutely is what we need. And we need to see Spider-Man fight Kingpin. We need to see Spider-Man fight Kingpin. And if Spider-Man is rated R, like Sam Havoc is predicting, for Punisher and Kingpin, that would make sense. And they may not have announced it yet, but what if they brought in Daredevil, too?
Dude, I would love to see Daredevil and Spider-Man share screen time. We saw it already in No Way Home, but that's Peter Parker, and he didn't know Daredevil, Matt Murdock was Daredevil, but to see them fight side by side against, say, the Kingpin's army or whatever they're going to have, I would love it. Because the banter between Daredevil and Spider-Man, oh my God, he would get on there. He would definitely get on Daredevil's nerves. He would definitely get on Punisher's nerves. That's for damn sure. But because Spider-Man is a motor mouth, and I know that's how he is. I mean, look what he did to Bucky. You got a metal arm? That is awesome, dude. I mean, but that's how he is. But I love to see that, and of course, knowing Spider-Man the way that I know him, he's gonna make a ton of fat jokes towards Kingpin. Dude, he's gonna rip him a new one. Like, what do you do? Bleed Rocky Road when you eat ice cream, or what's going on here? You are so fat you need the equator for a belt. I mean, I'm gonna get this canceled. I know that. I'm sorry. I apologize, but still, Spider-Man has been known for his humor, and sometimes it's so outlandish. It makes you want to cry and laughter. Okay, because it's just that good.
I can totally see Spider-Man saying that, but it's going to be a really interesting dynamic, though, because Spider-Man's a lot more friendly, and I don't want to say kid-friendly, but he's a lot more lighthearted, more, you know what I mean? Not as dark so much as compared to Punisher and Kingpin. So it's going to be a really interesting dynamic to see how Spider-Man and Punisher work together. And again, we don't officially know Kingpin's in this yet. Just to remind everyone, we're just speculating on this. But
Sure.
Punisher and Spider-Man, that's going to be a really interesting dynamic. Absolutely. I still think Kingpin will be a surprise. I think he'll be the bad guy, but they'll just kind of keep that mum. But
I know that they're supposed to be going in to start shooting the Spider-Man film pretty soon. I think it's in August, and they're already shooting Punisher right now in New York City. They've been leaking out pictures and video of the Punisher one-shot special on Twitter. I saw that the other day, but I'm all excited, dude. I really am. To me, it's like I get Punisher and Spider-Man in the same movie. $1 billion right there.
Absolutely. And yeah, so, James Gunn, I guess, has been taking credit for the Infinity Stones or something. But I think it's the other way around. I'm going to say right now, those Guardians films did well because of Kevin Feige, not because of Gunny Poo. And Nicole Perlman. I'll give Nicole Perlman credit too, but if Gunny Poo didn't have Feige, those films would have been
right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Integrity. If that comment actually appears up, but StreamYard being StreamYard, there it is. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. And so now what's funny is that after I put this stream up, after, I had this whole link created, we're going to catch up on all the old news that we missed, a new article comes out after I post this up. So I had to make some adjustments a little bit, and I didn't have as much time to really go over this as well, but let me just get to the start of this. Hold on. Here we are right here. So this project, the Blade project, still remains in development with Mahershala Ali. And, since it was announced in 2019, and I guess what's interesting is that this was they were working on different time periods, but then they just decided it was going to be focused on the modern day. And then so I guess they want to put the leather outfit on him right away. And so basically, I'm not going to read this word by word, but I guess basically they wanted, especially with the success of Sinners, they definitely want to get back into the vampire movies. And of course they want to, because they're going to try to get Ryan Coogler, which makes sense, but okay, so he's committed to Black Panther 3, but anyway, so I'm not going to lie, it's kind of a nothing burger update. It's like, oh yeah, it's still happening. It's still happening. Don't worry, guys, it's still happening. But I guess, Sox, what's your thoughts on this?
I believe it's still happening. I won't doubt that at all, because I know it's going to probably kick out the Midnight Suns, which is what I'm looking forward to, because we need Ghost Rider, finally. I need to see my Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, my Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. I want to see Blade and stuff like that. But Jordan Peele, I can see that, I wouldn't mind seeing that. There was a rumor that started a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know if it was confirmed or not. Obviously, it probably wasn't what I'm saying. Is that who directed the John Wick films? Did anybody know who directed the John Wick films? Or at least one of the director, I think it's either the first one or the second one. I can't remember which one it is. Somebody said that he'd be a perfect director for the new Blade movie.
Chad Stahelek?
I think that's the guy. And a lot of people are saying he's the one that they want to have direct Blade. And I thought to myself, whoa, okay. That'd be fine. Then get this guy, what's he got going on now? There's not going to be any more John Wick films. Is there? I don't know if there is anymore, but Disney, Open up the wallets. Get him over there. Put him on Blade. See what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that I haven't seen too much of this director's work, so I wouldn't really know too much, but I would, like, I do hope this film happens. I do, but I will say, Sox, this is my one concern. They made the Netflix series canon. Marvel made the Netflix series canon, and whether or not a certain character is dead, he still exists with that face in the MCU. Mahershala Ali played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. So I am hoping that the only thing they do change about this is that they use their multiverse and just have him from another Earth. Just do that, okay? You don't need to put him in 616.
Wait a minute, though. Hold on. Then there's an issue here because the woman that played Mariah that was in Luke Cage was also she played a different character in Captain America: Civil War.
I didn't like that either, but at least then it was just one scene. But I still didn't like that, just to clarify. Okay. But still, one scene's a lot different than a whole series and a whole movie. So, I don't know. Maybe you just retcon it and say he's like Cottonmouth's ancestor. That would be hilarious if they did that. I don't know. My guess is, though, realistically, despite what I hope for, they're not going to address it. He's just going to be 616, and they're going to... What do you mean by that? He's already dead. Or are they going to just, like, bring him back to life and give him a different face? Or are they going to, like, say
They're
that, like...
something... What? Wait, what?
Okay.
I swear. Sin Havoc knows things that we don't know that we'll eventually find out down the line, and Sin Havoc say vindicated.
Yep. Exactly. I don't know. I still suspect that Sin Havoc knew Mikey Sutton. I do suspect that. That is a theory of mine. I'm not saying it's confirmed, but I do suspect it. Anyways. In terms of this Blade update, I honestly don't have too much to say about it. I just make the movie already, okay? I hate seeing movies in development hell. I just want to, make the movie. If you're going to make the movie, make the movie. Ryan Reynolds already hinted at it in Deadpool and Wolverine. He gave us that look. He knows that there's not only going to be one Blade. Bring the character. Just do this movie. Although I will say, Sox, I have not seen the John Wesley Snipes movie.
You've never seen the original Blade trilogy?
No.
Homework, Batman. Homework.
Wait. Okay, but how is Cottonmouth getting recast? He's dead. What are they going to do? Recast him for a flashback? Yes, Sin Havoc.
Homework, Batman.
Yes.
Homework.
I know. And tell you what, Sox, just for you, we can review the entire trilogy before the Blade movie comes out. We'll make sure to do that. So... I don't agree with that, Dennis. I don't agree with that. I mean, I know it is a bit of an issue, but unfortunately, they picked this actor when the series was not going to be canon. And I'm not... Just because I don't agree with one choice Kevin Fiege makes doesn't mean I'm going to go as far as to say he doesn't know what he's doing. But, okay, so we'll have to wait. Okay, we'll see. And again, let's give them a chance. Maybe Feige will address that. Maybe they will find a way to address that. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe Cottonmouth is really from the past and got frozen like Steve Rogers, and Blade is his twin brother. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the Infinity Stones made our memories wrong, and we picture Cottonmouth with Blade's face. Who knows? But I haven't seen Luke Cage in a while, so I don't remember. But I just know he is dead, and the character does exist in 616 now. So, anyways, I just want to kind of address this a little bit. Nothing too much to say on it, but now Socks. This is just kind of no particular news for this one, but maybe we can get into some of the stuff in the article. I think I can kind of tie this in, but I get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying. He might somehow be alive. Okay, but sorry, I'm about to sneeze. I'm not about to sneeze. Great. So I have that in my head now, in my face. Okay. Anyways, Socks. What's your hype level for Fantastic Four First Steps? You are frozen right now. I didn't actually sneeze yet, but okay, you're back. So, Socks, what's your hype level for? Okay, so you'll be back right now. Okay, so going into my hype level for the MCU while we wait for Socks to return, and you can get a better look at my background now. So you can see I got comics. You can see the Rebel Moon up close. You can see got a Spider-Man picture here, Star Wars there, but what up, the Curly Ray? But I'm excited for this movie. I really am. I think that this is going to be a great movie. What I really like about this movie is that this movie, as Kevin Fiege says in the article that I'm about to pull up, it doesn't involve too much homework. It doesn't involve a lot of, you don't have to really watch all these previous movies. And I think that's something the MCU needed, in my opinion. Because I think the problem is the MCU has had so much content that it's like you have to watch these 5 movies and these 3 series before the MCU, before you can see this movie, before this next movie makes sense. So I'm glad that there's a movie that you can just see it and not really worry about what happened. Now, maybe I'll miss some stuff because of Thunderbolts, but we'll see. But we'll wait for Socks to come back. Where was that? So okay, I don't know. I'll look for that when Socks is back. But I think I'm really excited, and I really hope that we see. I think he's back. We'll wait till it actually appears back online. But okay, Socks, you're back. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I had to refresh the computer. I'm all good now. Sorry about that.
No problem. But yes, and Havoc. I know, but in all seriousness, though, the general audience is not going to want to have to watch like 10 movies for the next one to make sense. But I guess, Socks, what's your hype level for Fantastic Four First Steps?
I want to see it. I'm gonna go see it. I am. I'm gonna go see it. I have my little thoughts on Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, but other than that, I'm gonna go say, "Hey, Josh, what's up, man?" Yeah, I did. I got something in the negative zone. I agree with you, Josh. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna go get my movie ticket probably this week. Galactus alone is spot on. That is Galactus. I'm sorry. This is gonna get me kicked off the channel right now. Dark Side's Omega beams have no effect on Galactus. I've seen.
Oh, wow. Socks lost his internet connection again. Wow. Oh, okay, guys. Socks is gone. He has to refresh again. Okay, so I'll keep talking for a little bit now, but I will say, Socks, though, I do know there is
I'm going to say it because it looks good. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say real quick is that there is actually a non-canon DC Marvel crossover with Darkseid and Galactus. So I'll have to check that comic out sometime to actually see. But anyway,
is that it?
Go on, Socks.
Well, I am going to see the movie. I am going to see the movie. I am going to go see it for sure. And at first I was a little, kind of nervous about it. But now, the more I think about it, the way it's been set up, as long as there's the heart behind it, I think Stan Lee and Jack Kirby will be proud in heaven over this film. I got a weird feeling this movie's going to be really good. And to people that don't want to see it, hey, you don't want to see it, don't see it. I'm going to see it. In my opinion, man, it's fine. It matters how, just like your opinion should matter how you feel about a movie.
Exactly, Socks. And I will say this too, guys. If you are a Snyder fan, this is the 1 week you want to see an MCU movie. Okay, regardless about how you feel about the MCU in general, whatever. This week, guys, support Fantastic Four. For that, I mean, I would still see it otherwise because I think it will be a pretty good movie, but definitely see it, you know, for certain reasons. We'll say that. But I think overall, what I like about this from the trailers, though, Sox, it looks different. And I think that's something we really needed. It doesn't look more of the same. It actually looks different. I think having it take place in another world, in another Earth, is actually going to help it. And I want to kind of pull up what Kevin Feige was saying in this recent article, which, again, was not going to be part of this discussion, but since it's up now, we're going to add it. So basically, he's just mentioning had respectable success with, you know, the previous movies with Chris Evans and Johnny Storm, and then we don't talk about this movie, but
Hey, Curdy Ray.
And what's really interesting is what he said here. So because it's Marvel's first family, it's in the history of our characters. They deserve to be A-listers. They were A-listers in the comics. Every crossover movie we've made in the Infinity Saga, which they're actually in the Infinity Saga in the comics. So and I like what he said here because he wants to have it be in its own world, so you don't have to do any like callbacks to the blip or whatever. It's just it can really kind of be its own thing. Now, granted, because of the multiverse, it's going to lead to its own thing, but interesting. All right, Josh. Yeah, you did post that. I forgot. So here, since you're here right now, Josh, let me keep talking, Sox. Keep talking for a little bit. Just looking for a certain shirt that Josh posted.
Josh Trank was the guy that did that last Fantastic Four movie that came out in 2015. Wasn't he the same guy that trashed the hotel room and had issues with his cast members at the same time? And had issues with the studio because of certain things that was going on because he didn't want to take criticism for what the film was supposed to be, and he tried to turn it around into something else. That Josh Trank, and where's Josh Trank at today? I haven't seen him make a movie since then.
Exactly, Sox. Exactly. And then, guys, this is Josh's Fantastic Four shirt that he showed, so I just wanted to show that off real quick.
Wow.
So what do you think?
That is nice. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I like that. That's cool, man.
Yeah, really great shirt. Really like it. So wanted to show that off since you were here. And you just DM'd it to me on Twitter. So let me check.
Nice.
Here, I'll check the version you sent me too. So share screen. So but yeah. So guys. Now, it doesn't have all these emojis on the actual shirt, but yeah. So, Fantastic Four, July 25th. But I was really interested in what Foggy was saying about that, because it is their first family, because they have that family mentality that you see in the trailers, and I really think that's an interesting dynamic. And one thing too, Socks, what I like about this, the Fantastic Four, they're a known IP. Unlike the Thunderbolts, they're a known IP within the Marvel brand. I mean, they're one of the big four that Universal has in their theme parks, which is Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the Avengers. So people know who the Fantastic Four are.
Okay.
So they're a very well-known brand. So I think that's one reason why this film will do well, is people know them. People know the Fantastic Four. So I think this film will be good. And I think people will see this film. I think people are actually excited for this film, unlike another superhero film that came out this month. But wait. What do you mean he had his own tent?
Yeah. Josh Trank was not a good guy. Josh Trank was not a good guy at all. And again, where is he at now as a director?
Not here. But so, Socks, I do have some bad news for you. You know how I said we're going to have to review all 3 Fantastic Four movies before we review First Steps? Well, we will not have time to review all 3 movies. So unfortunately, we will not be reviewing Fan Four Stick before this movie comes out. So we will be skipping over that completely. Damn, I'm really sneezy today. That's not coming out. But Mole Man. So, Socks, who's Mole Man? The only Mole Man I know is from Simpsons.
The Mole Man from the I'm gonna have to say this. I read very few Fantastic Four comics in my life. I'm not a expert on that comic series. I know who they are. Obviously, I've read them over the years, every once in a great while. But what I understand, Mole Man is just basically on the ground. He's able to control the mole people. And they had the Fantastic Four, and they had their first appearance. He has his first appearance in the first issue. So that you see in the Little Caesar commercials, where the giant monster came out of the ground, Mole Man is controlling him. He's having him attack the Fantastic Four. He's kind of like a B- type villain. He's not on a Doctor Doom level or Galactus level. He's not like that. So
Okay, but yeah. So I think that it will be interesting to see what this film does. I think this film's going to do great. I think it's going to be a great film. I think it will do well critically. I think it will do well in the box office. I have a lot of faith in Fantastic Four, and it's not just my bias against a certain other movie that came out this month specifically. It's just more of I really do think this film's going to be good. So, okay, the Underminer from The Incredibles. Okay, yeah, I know who that guy is. I've seen those movies, but now let's get into the future of the MCU. Other points. So there was something that Foggy said in here that I'm a little like, I don't know if I quite believe that. So it's basically what he says right here. So basically, okay. So he was talking about how he's glad to have access to more notorious antagonists like Doctor Doom, because King the Conqueror was the alleged bad guy before, Sox and I, we give our thoughts on Jonathan Majors, all that. And Foggy's saying, even before what happened with the actor, Jonathan Majors, we started to realize Kang wasn't Thanos. Well, yeah, you had him defeated by a bunch of ants. Don't do that for your big bad next time. But, I kind of go back and forth on this. So he's basically saying they were kind of ready to move out now that they have access to Fox, that they can use Doctor Doom. I mean, I don't know. I still kind of think that they're they don't want to accuse Jonathan Majors completely, so they're kind of just playing both sides with this and just moving on to Doctor Doom without making any huss or fuss about a recast. But I don't know. I do think that in some ways, though, Doctor Doom will probably be a better villain. And also you have Robert Downey Jr. playing him, who's from the multiverse. So I'm fine with him looking like Robert Downey Jr., like Tony Stark, since you're using the multiverse as an explanation. But I don't know, Sox, what's your thoughts on that? What Kevin Feige said?
The way I see this, man, is that maybe maybe Feige must have pivoted at one point. Maybe he felt that Kang wasn't strong enough, and he wanted to go with Doom. Now, my question is to this part right here. We all know that Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Doctor Doom for 2 movies, right? That's it. So they're going to have to recast that character down the line after the second film. Somebody else has got to show up as Doom. Because Doom is a big bad guy. He's like Thanos level, Galactus level. You ain't going to kill Doctor Doom off in the second film. You can't do that. So who would they cast as Doctor Doom? Because Downey ain't going to do it after that. He's going to go on his own thing. Obviously going to bring in a different version of Doctor Doom from somewhere else. Remember what I said before, that Secret Wars is a reboot of the entire MCU. A lot of these are being pulled in, some of these are being let go, whatever, blah, blah, blah. In that article, I also read that they're talking about maybe even possibly, and I think this is going to happen, recasting for Captain America and Iron Man. Right? Which I know that's eventually going to happen as well. I think they're going to recast Doctor Doom also after his second film. I got a weird feeling they're going to.
Well, yeah, because actually what you just said, so I'm glad you said that, Sox, because this leads me to another point that was addressed in this article. So but it's kind of what he says right here. So basically, also a side note, the post-credit scene in Fantastic Four, First Steps, will be directed by the Russo brothers. So they are directing the post-credit scene in Fantastic Four, First Steps. But what's interesting is there's no plan for a singular reset of timelines to reboot the MCUs. There is a plan to reset timelines to reboot the MCU. So basically, yeah, they are going to reboot the MCU, essentially, after Secret Wars, which I think is good. I think that is needed because I think the problem is, again, the quality has not been consistent. And I think what will help, too, is that people won't have to watch 20 years worth of movies. Because a new generation is coming in now, Sox. Like, a new generation is coming in watching these movies. And they don't want to have to watch 20 movies, over 20 movies, all these series, just for that this next movie makes sense. They don't have time for that. So I think a reboot is necessary so you don't have to do all this homework. I know I'm playing about homework, but I'm just thinking business here from the perspective of the the consumer, because people have stuff to do. Some of these people are in college. They don't have time to watch all these movies. They're in high school. They get homework. Get a lot of homework in high school, guys. So I don't know, Sax, what's your thoughts on like the whole rebooting after Secret Wars?
No, I think it's a good idea. I really do, because I can see why people are probably confused on certain things and they don't want to go back and watch X amount of films or shows that get up to date. A couple of weeks ago, it got reported that Kevin Feige and the MCU was considering, and I think this is the direction they're going to go with, making the Disney Plus shows more grounded, like Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Punisher, and so on, but having the bigger, grander scale type, cosmic level type films, whatever, in the theater. I have no problem with that. I'm fine with that. I would love to see Moon Knight continue. I'd love to see Punisher continue, or even Luke Cage, or Iron Fist, and so on, and other characters, continue as shows on Disney Plus. And you have other type of stuff on a cosmic level up on the big screen. But I would also love to see a Ghost Rider live action TV series or a Blade or something. And I know that people might get that confused. I understand that, but then I also think about this is that what not everybody wants to go back and watch those old shows to catch up with what's going on now. Look at the Penguin. I didn't see the Batman movie. I didn't want to watch the Batman, but I watched the Penguin. You can watch the Penguin and not know anything about the Batman movie, and you can fall right into that and enjoy it. I enjoyed the Penguin. I thought the Penguin was a great show for what it is. And I heard people say I hated the Batman, but I love the Penguin. I can understand that. I get that because a lot of people did not like the Batman, but they loved the Penguin. Penguin is a great show. So I understand that. And if you can do a show that's connected to a property, but you don't have to watch the other property to watch the show, you'll win over a fan base. They'll watch it. That's a fact. It's all in the writing. No matter if it's a movie or a show, as long as the writing is solid, they'll watch it.
Exactly, Socks. Exactly. So, again, we'll see how this reboot works. I have a feeling it's not going to be a full-fledged reboot. I think it'll be kind of like a half reboot. Some actors will stay, some won't. But let's hope it's not confusing because someone else tried that, is trying to do that, and it's confusing. So, if you know, you know. But there was one last thing from the article I really wanted to address, Socks. So, it was basically about Kevin Feige's contract. So, let's see, right here. So basically, so he's saying his contract's up in 2 years, but he says despite that, he's not going anywhere. And Marvel's a great way to do that. Me personally, Socks, I don't think he's completely staying, but I don't think he's completely leaving. I think he'll be more flexible to do something else too, in addition to Marvel, because Mikey Sutton said this, and we were talking about this before the stream started. But Kevin Feige is a bigger Star Wars fan than Marvel fan. Hashtag justice for fives. This is what Mikey Sutton said. Maybe this, and since Lucasfilm and Marvel are both under the Disney umbrella, he's not technically leaving. He's not technically working for an opposite side. If he were to, let's say, kind of play both fields, that's what I think is going to happen. Socks. I think when his contract is up, he's going to renew it so he can kind of do both, do Star Wars and do Marvel. That's my theory about what I think is going to happen. Actually, what do you think?
That's a lot, man. I mean, that's a lot because Marvel got so much stuff going on right now, and Kathleen Kennedy is leaving in August. Supposedly, she's done. I hope so. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy to us Star Wars DC fans. Okay, I get it. So she's leaving. Okay, thank you, Almighty. She's leaving. So if she leaves, and I'm praying it all goes well that she does, and say you got Dave Filoni take over, in a couple years of Civil War, Lucasfilm back up. Now, Filoni himself and Favreau got this. Okay, I wish either one of those two. I know what they're doing when it comes to Lucasfilm. Feige being who he is, the name, and $32 billion into a film studio, I think he could help Lucasfilm out as well. But I can't see him doing both MCU and Lucasfilm. That's a lot. That is a lot to do. And you're only one guy, and there's only so many hours in a day. My question would be, if Feige does go to Lucasfilm, who is taking over the MCU? Somebody good, man. Because if it's somebody crap, we're all going to go crazy on this, whoever that is. And I don't know who could take over that spot right now if Feige were to go. He's got to appoint somebody there. So, well, all things come to an end and all things will change eventually. I get that. But, I just don't think Feige can do both. And I wouldn't want him to because he's got so much on his plate. There's so much going on in the MCU in his life. Why would you want to put Lucasfilm on top of that? I want to be able to focus on one thing. He did it great for the MCU. Then if he feel like he's done as much as he could, now he wants to go do the Lucasfilms, let him focus on that. He'll have a great support on that side with Filoni and Favreau. Especially Kathleen Kennedy and all her talking monkeys are gone when she leaves, which I want her gone because she's our James Gunn like he is to you. So we'll see.
I mean, just to clarify, I don't think like he'd be like studio head of both. I think like maybe he would do one primarily and be a consultant of the other. That's more what I'm thinking. But because again, he can't directly say what his plans are because especially if this stuff is under negotiation, he can't announce, "Hey, I'm going to Lucasfilm, guys. Bye, Marvel." He can't say it like that. He has to kind of play it by, "Oh, okay, interesting." So I know the Russo brothers, so that would be interesting, though, Sox. I will say that. So, yeah, I do think that because here's the thing.
Hold on. Oh, I just forgot. I just remembered. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. I apologize.
Okay.
It was reported why the Russo brothers came to you. They're in power in you before. The case, if they take over the MCU, if Feige goes to Lucasfilm, they take you, it's a wrap. Because they even said they got a lot more power in the MCU when it came back. I just remember that now. Thank you, Sin Havoc. Wow.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, if he's Disney head, then in a way he would be in charge.
Mikey said that. Mikey had talked about that. I remember he had said that. I'm sorry about that. Mikey had told us about that. That is true. Mikey talked about that too. Thank you.
Which means he essentially could be doing both, but just in a different capacities. That there'd be a Marvel guy and a Star Wars guy or a Lucasfilm guy, and they would both answer to Feige. So, okay. Because, like, again, his response makes it seem like he's not completely leaving.
I'm fine with that. Right.
So, that would be interesting, though. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of great stuff that... I think there's a lot of great stuff to look forward to with Marvel, unlike another franchise. It just depends how these next movies go. Fantastic Four, First Steps, the Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day, and the Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars. Probably will be a two-parter movie there. We'll see. Actually, did they say... Okay, just some untitled Marvel movies. So, yeah. Well, we'll see, though. But... yeah, so I think there's a lot of great stuff coming up. So again, thank you, Sox, for coming on with me to just kind of do a news segment because I think we needed something like this because we've been gone for so long. Normally if there's like some Marvel news, I'll just put it with the next review, but I just figured there was so much that was happening. I was like, you know what, let's just do it all in one big stream to catch up on this. And this was a really fun stream. I like going live, interacting with the chat again. It was really great. So I know there were some cutout issues, guys, but I think this is still a good format because the interaction with people is nice. I think there's a lot more genuine interaction we get with people. So we have a lot more coming up, guys. There's a lot more coming up on this channel. And with Marvelous Discussions, next week we will be reviewing Fantastic Four First Steps. And we will get to Daredevil Born Again Season 1, guys. We had to reshuffle some stuff around with the move, but... oh, that would be good. I would like that. But
Yeah.
and then okay, cool. Thank you, Sin Havoc. But we will be reviewing Daredevil Born Again. That is also coming out. After that, though, we'll kind of go just depending on what comes out. But there will be a lot of great stuff on Marvelous Discussions coming out. And then just on this channel in general, once mid-August hits, I'll probably cover some rants I have about what stupid people are saying on the other side of the superhero spectrum lately. If you know, you know. But anyway, Sox, is there anything you want to promote? Since we're live now, so there's no, oh, this already happened by the time you said it. So
No, I mean, I'm glad that we're back to doing live. I miss the live shows. I really do. I know my internet ain't always the best, and I had to refresh or whatever. But you know what? I'll deal with it. I'll just constantly refresh if I have to. And I only had to refresh once, so there's that. But Sin Havoc has been dropping some good information. Thank you, Sin Havoc. I truly appreciate it more than anything. There's a lot of changes coming, that's for sure. We know that. I did not know this one about Melanie Hobson. Thank you, Sin. I did not know that at all. Holy Jesus! Wow, I did not know that.
yes, Sean Franklin. In fact,
Thank you,
at
Sin.
least I have. My last stream was actually a Jurassic World spoiler review, so check that out. What about you, Sox? Have you seen Jurassic World Rebirth?
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, we all know that she's gone. I mean, she's been just sitting there to run out her contract and get a paycheck, but she's done. And as soon as when the internet breaks and she's gone for sure, we can all start dancing because I know I'll be dancing for sure. And I'll be like, the witch is dead. The witch is dead. Finally, the witch is dead. They dropped the house on the witch. They dropped the.
Not that we would actually advocate for someone actually dying, just to clarify, but definitely. And I guess, Sox, have you seen this movie yet, Jurassic World Rebirth?
No, I haven't. And I have nothing against the Jurassic Park franchise whatsoever. I just haven't seen it yet. You know, I think I got the last Jurassic Park movie I saw was the last one. The first one where Chris Pratt was in it. Was that 2015? I think
Yeah.
it was before
Yep.
Dominion. That one, the movie, yeah, that one. Okay. And and this is gonna sound silly, so I apologize. But in my way of thinking is like, you would think since the world knows there's a bunch of dinosaurs on an island, that the governments would not send their battleships around the island and keep the dinosaurs there and keep people from going there. So you know that these things are going to eat you. Why would you go there in the first place? Put a bunch of battleships around there that prevent these things from coming off, or tell stupid people, hey, unless you want to become a Happy Meal, don't come here.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I'm going to avoid those leaks because I want to be surprised by this movie. So this channel's going to avoid the leaks. If Sox wants to read them privately, go ahead, but don't share them with me. But anyways, guys. Okay, interesting. Well, thank you, Sin Havoc. And yeah, oh no, I definitely suspected. Oh, Doomsday. Okay, interesting. See, Sin Havoc dropping bombs. So we'll be wrapping up now, though. So guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great discussions such as these. And guys, I'm at 510 subscribers right now. Get me to 550 so I can do the 500 celebration stream. Because again, 550 gives me the cushion. So want to wait to get to 550 till I have my cushion. So subscribe. And on that note, any final words, Sox?
Get this man his 550 so he can get his cushion. His cushion is important. Without his cushion, he has no rear end. Ta-ta for now.
Thank you, Sox. And have a marvelous day.